Alright guys, and gals, getting finishing up the rudders here. So before I go work out a little bit, I need to let some glue dry, and let me explain that part here. I'll get this rudder off 1 second. Oh, a little heavy once you put the stuff in it. Alright, so to get these servos in, you have to kind of open it up a little bit, nothing out of the norm. I did put, like I said, I think I talked about in the last video, put the rudders on, mark the line here so you don't go past it, because you can go, past where the edge of the vertical stabilizer would be, or rudder, whatever you want to call it. And so it tapers back, and what you kind of need to do is, if you go opening up this edge of it to kind of just drop the servo down there, you're going to be out past rudder. So what I did is I extended up just a little bit, and it's not far, it's maybe an inch, not even an inch past where it originally was, and it allows me to just come in just like this and go, and then you go back, and bam, just drops right in. So that way you don't have to cut outside of where the edge of your rudder would be and see some hole, which is what happens on the F-22. And then I had to clean out, there's this joint where they just put something over it and throw some glue on it, which it is not really doing a whole lot, but I guess it works. But there's a lot of glue through here, so it hits this wall. So you just have to take a Dremel with a sanding drum and clean that out right through here on this side. And then you have to cut a little, let me get my, sorry. Let's see if maybe this will work out. There you go. So that wall there with the seam, you have to clean that, and then you got to put that little notch in the mount to allow for the servo wire to go down, because the actual mount is very tight, so you can't just work it in because it's kind of a thick block. But what I discovered is these two mounts, and it's like this on both sides, and that's what I'm letting dry, is the glue, like, it wasn't attached to the outer skin, so it was just glued on this light ply bulkhead on the side here. And I don't think it's it's not, well, it is, it's a tongue and groove, so it is in a notch on this, but that side was just suspended. So once I cleaned some of the glue off, it exposed the gap, and then I just went back and I put some high saw in there, and it's pretty much, it's set up enough to where I could actually probably put the servo in, but I'm gonna let it go ahead and finish curing. That way it's one solid piece now, plus it kind of gives this some strength because it's very thin. But the servo goes in super easy now, and so I moved on to putting the rods in and the rudders back on. I did have to do so to get full travel, you have to kind of take this, because what does it, it'll hit here. So you just have to take either something to sand it by hand, or a Dremel, and just kind of trim that little ledge down a little bit to give clearance. If not, you're only going to get like that much, and you can actually get quite a bit of rudder on these if need be. So I don't know if these tow in on takeoff like the F-18 does or not, but I remember seeing Skymaster's set up with it. Of course, they did have the thrust vectoring, and they were having the rudders move with certain things. So plenty of rudder there, you can kind of see. And then this one is just the same, and I just got it sitting on here. You get more in, you do out. Problem with this rudder, so I was flushing up at the top and then putting that aluminum arm on. Well, look at this. The bottom part of the rudder is not in line with the trailing edge I'm like, oh, well, maybe it's just how they designed it. Well, you come over to this one, flush up the top, and the bottom flushes up. So that's something's warped. I don't know if it's the rudder or the actual surface. You know, based on how this is fitting, I would dare to say it's either a layup issue here, or almost looks like the rudder is twisted. So ain't nothing I can do about that. So I figured more authority up here. So I just make it look nice up here, and down here, screw it. This is kind of what I was thinking about last night, and I forgot to mention in the video. Like, every kit you get from SkyMaster is going to be different. They can't, I don't know anybody, any of the Asians that can, Asian manufacturers, aka the Chinese, that can make the same thing every time without it having crazy inaccuracies. So, you know, things like servo blocks are going to be different. You know, you'd think all this stuff has jigs, and they're pretty good about their jigs, but what you find is slop in places and just quality of the fitting of the parts. And that seems to vary. That's the biggest thing. Like, it varies between models. Like, I had an F-18 from SkyMaster. It was so piss poor. They obviously didn't put enough time into making it, you know, like they did, say, the Tomcat, which they put a lot of effort into because of the whole Fly Eagle, you know, frenzy. And, you know, they also put a lot of effort into this one. I don't know, maybe it's because they like it more, or Anton likes it more, I don't know. But this one fits, for the most part, better than, say, the Viper XXL. It was horrible fit quality. Like, I still got to fix that, the wing tubes, you know, they got slop in them. Things just didn't line up as good, and the parts and things just weren't as nice as this one. And then, like, the F-18 was crap, the F-14 was good. So I think it depends on the model, and I think it depends on the luck of the draw, what you're going to get. This one, for the most part, everything, the engineering's good. The fit quality seems to be okay. They've kept it light but strong. But then you get paint issues. What were they thinking here when they did this? And then you jump to the Viper XXL, and it's like, wow, this thing is stupid flimsy, and glue joints on ribs aren't even touching but on one side of the skin when they laid it up. And then the gear doors, or the little tiny microscopic arms on these little bitty, on these giant doors, are just popping off because they just tacked them to the outside skin, and it's flimsy, and it's just like, I don't know, I don't get it, but whatever. So anyways, while that's curing, I'm gonna go put some miles on the body, work off some of this lunch, and when I come back, I'll drop the servos in. I did change. So all they had on their clamp was this bolt screw with, and it just went, it was shorter. So what I did is I took a longer one, and which allowed me to put a nut on it, even though this side is threaded, just as a secondary, you know, clamped it down and then put a nut on it. So, and these do have to go forward, and yeah, you can get full throw on this without it hitting the fuselage, so it's good. Good thing there. And I did change a little bit. I ditched one of the lock nuts because my rudder arms were thicker, so I put a regular 3mm nut on top with a lock nut on bottom. And I do have to trim off that bottom portion of this servo arm, and that's what you come up with. And then this just simply goes into this like this. So when you drop the servo down, you got to make sure these line up and go over this. And there is going to be some slop in the rudders because these are not perfect tight fit to that channel. So, but that's all it does. Is it's kind of like almost a direct drive, but you know, it's their typical pin drive kind of thing, I guess you could call it. So And assuming this length works out, if this is too long, then I could always cut further back into this, which would actually be kind of a good thing, because then I could custom fit it, you know, if it was needed to be a little bit longer, or I could just drill another hole in the arm as needed to get the actual length. So hopefully I won't have to do that. We'll see. But yeah, and then once this is done, I should finish this up fairly quick. I say that should be fairly quick, and get these servos put in and attached. Then I'm going to hop on to the stabilizer, horizontal stabilizer servos. Hopefully they're pretty quick, because you can only cut out so much. I know I'm going to have to might have to open up a little bit on one side to get it slid in there, and hopefully that's all there really is. And then of course you'll have to cut an opening here on top for the servo arm, and then of course the oh shoot, sorry guys, I don't have this on my head. And then the friggin' control horn will be here, which I got to glue into the stab, and then it just runs down to that. So it's about that long of a pitch rod. Very beefy, heavy duty metal thing that they have with metal ball ends. So, and the rudder covers up the linkage, because it kind of runs up through here and out the back, and then your control horn and the piece that you glue onto the stab fits inside here. So as it moves up and down, it kind of rides in and out through this channel. Let's see, let me find the. Here we go. I wonder if they painted these to match too. Looks like they did. Okay. Yeah. Nope. Close, but no cigar. And these don't fit very well. So yeah. So this one's all white. Is this backside? Nope. Okay, so that's what it is. So this backside, just kind of, there we go. All right, so it just goes in here like this, and then as you pivot, it's almost going to be probably like this. As you pivot, that's what you're going to get. So it covers up everything. Looks bueno. Looks good, hopefully. So probably have to trim some of this glue out of here. But anyways, you guys have a good one. I'm gonna go work out, and then I'll come back and get rolling do some more. Cheers.